Hello, Columbia. My name's Daniel Barsotti. I'm the Instructional Support Specialist for Distance Education here at Columbia College. And in today's video, I'm going to be taking you through Canvas and teaching you how to navigate it. Once you've signed into your Canvas account, you'll find yourself on the dashboard, which is sort of like the home page of Canvas. Before we look at the dashboard though, on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see a vertical menu with a few icons, which is called the Global Navigation menu. They call it global because no matter where you go on Canvas, you'll be able to see this same menu. We can tell that we're on the dashboard because the dashboard icon on the Global Navigation menu is selected and appears white. Looking back to the main dashboard page, the dashboard itself has many elements that are useful for keeping up to date with your courses, and we will go through everything starting from the top down. The first thing you may notice as you sign into Canvas is a giant red box at the top of the website. This is called an announcement box. These announcements are for all members of Columbia College, and you can read the information listed within the box to learn more about campus life, whether it be events, updates, or alerts that don't necessarily have anything to do with your individual courses. On the right-hand side of the website, you will see a to-do column. This is a great list of all of the assignments in your courses that are coming due on any course. So if you have multiple courses, all of them will appear here. And these are all assignments that you need to do because you haven't submitted them yet. In this case, we have my discussion prompt, which is an assignment worth 20 points, and it is due on March 3rd at 11:59 p.m. From the to-do column, if we scroll down, we'll find a new column called Recent Feedback. This would be any completed assignments that have been graded that have some sort of comment or grade waiting for you from your professor. And finally, we have a View Grades button that if we click, we will see our current total grade in every course that we're in at the moment. And then we can head back to the dashboard by clicking the dashboard button on the Global Navigation menu. The last section on our dashboard page is the dashboard section, which you can use to find all of your courses. By default, the courses show up as cards, or otherwise known as card view. We can check this little kebab menu up here in the corner that pulls up a drop down that can change our dashboard view. As I said before, card view is the default, which is my recommended view because it's the cleanest and the easiest to digest. You can also choose list view. Now this turns the entire dashboard into your to-do list, essentially. I'm not a huge fan of this section, and I do not recommend it. So if you open up your dashboard and it looks like this, you can go back up to the kebab menu and change back to card view. The last part is recent activity. This will divide your dashboard into recent activity that comes from all of your classes put together into one. Now again, I don't recommend this view, but it could be useful if you want to separate all of your work into the different categories for the types of assignments that you might have. I'm going to change this back to card view. The last option we have in this kebab menu is color overlay. If you turn this on, the images on these cards will have a color overlay, such as this Columbia Online Teaching Tools. And you would notice this too if the pictures weren't just the color themselves. I do not recommend this view only because I have color deficiency myself and it makes it harder for me to see the images, but I could see this being useful for people who like things to be a little organized, especially by color. But I'm going to turn that off and go back to just the normal card view. The last thing that I can do in the dashboard section is going up to this kebab menu on one of your course cards. You can actually color your courses into different colors. So in this case, I'm going to turn this red, and you see it changes the color for me. So maybe that indicates for me which course it is a little bit better. And I can also move them to the top, move them to the bottom, and rearrange them this way. This may be a good way for you to organize your classes by priority. You can also give your course a specific nickname. So if this 2024 CSPOE 9900 is hard for you to remember what course this is, you could go ahead and type as a nickname instead, let's say science, and apply this as well. And this gives it a new nickname, although you will see that it doesn't change the course name itself. We'll change this back to the green that it was before. And these little icons will indicate different assignments or announcements that you might have in the class, and we'll go over those in a different video when we look specifically at navigating courses. So don't worry about them now, we'll cover them very shortly. This is just about everything that you can find on the dashboard page, and now we're going to move on to the account page. By selecting the Account tab on the Global Navigation menu, a tab will come out that shows various different menus for changing settings within Canvas itself. The first of which is Notifications, which if we click on will take us to a new page in which we can see all the options we had in the Account tab, but now we have a separate page for notification settings itself. In the notification settings, you will be able to change your notification settings for every course. Here I'm setting up my settings for every course by using the account menu here. And we can see that if we click on our due date, which will inform us of any due date, we can choose the frequency in which that happens. We can choose to notify immediately, a daily summary, a weekly summary, or turn off notifications off in general, which I'm going to go ahead and turn those off now so you see what that appears as. And you can also go to this box to change individual courses to have different settings. Remember, if you use the account settings to change your notifications, it will apply to every course. In the profile settings, you'll be able to see your name. You could edit your picture to upload a picture of yourself to personalize your Canvas by going to Edit Profile. You can add a biography, as well as some links to websites. If maybe you have a YouTube channel or some sort of portfolio that you'd like to link, you can save those here. The final page I would like to show you in this video is the settings page. On this page, you'll be able to change more of the technical aspects of Canvas. For example, if I click Edit Settings here, you'll be able to change the language default, your time zone, and you can also add your pronouns. That's something that you would like to do to help other classmates address you correctly. By scrolling down, the most important part here is the user settings at the bottom of the screen, which give you options to auto show closed captions, which is a wonderful setting so that you can see captions to make your videos more accessible, as well as other settings that you might want to look through to see if they benefit you. I highly suggest turning on Microsoft Immersive Reader here, which will actually allow the text-to-speech to read pages to you in your courses. In terms of the settings, there's plenty to go over that I'll make a different video addressing each individual tab. But for now, we'll move on from the Account tab and move over to the Courses tab. The Courses tab on the Global Navigation menu may not do exactly what you think it would. Now, of course, you can access your courses from this page, but the main use of this tab, in my opinion, is if you do not see a course here on the dashboard page, you can go to the Courses tab, click on All Courses, and it will bring up a list of all of the different courses that you've been a part of or are currently a part of. You'll see that the 3 that have these gold stars next to them are already on my dashboard. And if I wanted to add another one of these courses onto my dashboard, say Columbia Online Instruction Training Fall 20 something, we'll click on this star. And if we go back to our dashboard and refresh the page, sometimes it takes a little bit. Oh, there we go. We'll see that that course is now added to our dashboard because we favorited it. That is the main use of the course tab that I think is nifty, because I do feel as though the card view is a little bit easier than seeing the courses listed here. The Groups tab on the Global Navigation menu gives you a menu in which you can select study groups or groups that you've become a part of within Canvas. If I click on all groups, it'll take me to the full list of current groups as well as previous groups that may have been disbanded at this point. If I click on one of the groups, such as Test Group 1, I'll be taken to a page in which all of our group work or group announcements will be separated as an individual page for each group, making it really easy to communicate with group members in discussions, whether you search files or even work on collaborations together using Google Docs or Google Drive access. The calendar page is one of the most useful assets in all of Canvas. We can reach the calendar by clicking on the Calendar tab on the global navigation menu, which will take us to a month calendar here for February 2024. And on this page, we can see all of the different course events and assignments that have been posted in our courses. All of the events on the calendar are color-coded by which course they apply to, which you can see by hovering over them or by checking the page on the right that says calendars and shows you the color coordination for each page. The color of each course on the calendar corresponds with the color that you selected for the course card on the dashboard. Now, it's not only limited to coursework. You can also add your own events into the calendar. Today is the 26th of February. If I wanted to make an event for the 28th of February, I would click on the box and an edit event would pop up, and I can change to the My To Do tab. Title this something such as Study, which I will want to do on Wednesday at 10 a.m. You could put details for which course you might want to study for example, or links. And then I'll submit, and you'll notice that this will now populate at 10 a.m. on Wednesday that I need to study. This could be useful for organizing your work schedule and creating an organized calendar for you to refer to when planning ahead. On the global navigation menu, we can now select the Inbox tab, which if we click will take us to our Canvas inbox. Now I have no conversations to show, but I could create a new message if I would like to, choose a course that I'm in, and I could choose either teachers or students from this course to send a direct message to, and they would get it in their own inbox. This is a very great way to start a conversation individually with your instructor or potentially with another classmate to get some feedback or elaboration on work that might be coming due. By opening the History tab on the global navigation menu, you'll be given a list of recent history of pages that you've gone to in Canvas within the last couple of instances. So in this case, I had just recently recorded the part about groups. So you can see that all of the group pages are here listed as not only the page that we were on, but which group or course it was associated with and how long ago we visited. If you scroll down, you can find plenty of instances. In fact, we can go all the way back to February 16th when I visited pages in the past. So this is a great way to go back to pages that you may have lost track of. The Studio tab on the global navigation menu takes you to Canvas Studio, which when loaded in is a tool in which you can create or record videos for you to use inside of your courses, whether it be discussion posts that might have a video option or some sort of presentation that you need to make. You can use Canvas Studio to record those videos. And I will go over more of Canvas Studio in another video. The final page on Canvas that I'd like to take you to is the Help page. Now you can find that on the global navigation menu as well. In my case, the resolution is low, so I need to scroll down in order to find it. It may be there for you. right directly under Studio. If I click the Help tab on the global navigation menu, a new tab opens up, which gives me a few options for support. The first link here on the Search the Canvas Guides, you can click on this and it will take you to the Canvas website, and on which you can find any answer to a question you might have, such as how to log in to Canvas. And you will be given a guide on how to log into Canvas, or you could watch the video that I created a while ago. Going back to the tab, you'll also find other resources in which you can ask your instructor a direct question, which functions similarly to the inbox. You can find Canvas support in the daytime for MJC as well as Columbia College, 24/7 Canvas chat support, which is a great function, which I will show you now by clicking on the Columbia Canvas Help 24/7 chat support. I'll be taken to the Canvas website, but this time we're on the support side of things. We can go to the top right and contact support. It'll ask us if we have searched the knowledge base. We'll say yes, and we couldn't find it, so we need to contact support. And you'll be given 3 different options. The chat option, which provides you with a live chat support agent with 0 wait time at this point, which is very fast. You will be talking to a real person, not a bot, and you can have a conversation about what support you need on Canvas. You can also submit an email, which could take a while to respond, so chat is probably the best option, or you can ask the Canvas community and other members of Canvas can help you. I highly suggest choosing the chat function because it's available to you 24/7, and they can get you direct and immediate support on Canvas. Thank you for watching and for following along, and I hope that this video helped teach you a little bit about navigating Canvas. If you ever have any additional needs for support in Canvas or any other online technology, please feel free to stop by the Instructional Technology Center during our open lab hours and pay me a visit. Thank you and have a great day.